So there I am recording. Let me turn this out of the way so I'm not looking at my mug and I can concentrate on all of this spice. Because today's video is going to be about spices. The spices and seasonings that we travel with. My internet friend Susan asked me what we carry when we're traveling since we move around a lot. We do a lot of house sitting. We don't really have a set home base. We've done a lot of traveling over the years, and we've got a little travel kitchen that we take with us. And we take a lot of the spices and seasonings with us too if we're in our car. Because food's the same all over the world, right? I mean, a chicken in Indiana tastes the same as a chicken in France, maybe. Just the plain Jane chicken. Our French chicken's different. What's different is the seasonings. What's different is culturally how we flavor our foods. And so if you have the right seasonings and spices, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do with your food. So since we don't know what we're going to find when we get to a particular house sit, you know, sometimes there's lots of spices. Sometimes the kitchen is outfitted, you know. Some of the best kitchens I've ever cooked in have been ones that we've just stumbled across while house sitting. But sometimes, you know, they don't have a lot at all. So it's nice to have a choice of things that we already have with us. And then that way we don't have to run out and replenish our supplies all the time. But I'm going to go through the spices and seasonings we have. And then I'm also going to choose the ones that I think are essential, or the ones that I would like to have. But let's get started with everything spice. And this is kind of like a bagel topping. This is just kind of like an everything seasoning. And we use this a lot with Italian seasonings. This is for one of our favorite breakfast meal items. We make an avocado on a tostada shell, or you can do it on avocado toast and mix these ingredients in with it. And it tastes super duper. You can use this in salads. Pretty much anything you want to throw this in. It adds a great texture and flavor. But mostly we use it for that avocado dish and for salads. And this here we also throw on flatbreads and pizzas. Or we can just mix this in with omelets and eggs too. Super duper ingredients, but not necessarily necessary. So I'll set those aside. Then I got some chili flakes. I just love, you know, having a little bit of heat and spice. And flakes are nice because they also add a texture. So I like having chili flakes. Now salt. You know, of course, we got pink salt because Camera Girl likes to get, you know, she doesn't want to pay as little as you can for salt. She wants to make sure that we're getting the virgin peak Himalayan mountain blessed by a monk salt, you know, so that, you know, we got to give a few dollars as well as an arm and a leg. But salt is essential, so I guess I'll put salt here, although if we didn't carry salt with us, I mean, salt's almost everywhere you go. I don't think we've ever gone to a kitchen where there wasn't already salt and pepper. But I do carry salt, and I do have some black pepper in here as well. Although ideally, you know, I like the fresh ground black pepper. And a lot of times, you know, that's pretty popular now. And you can buy those ones that are almost like little black peppers that have the mill on the end of them. So it's pretty common. I mean, more often than not when we go somewhere, we're going to find fresh ground black pepper. But I've got this just in case. But I'll set these here because those are kind of essential. And then we've also got some nutritional yeast. I'm not sure what this is. In fact, this one hasn't even been opened because Camera Girl finished up the last one. I have no idea what this is. It says cheesy on here. You know, I don't know if I want anything that's labeled cheesy, but she likes to put this on popcorn whenever she feels like ruining a batch of popcorn. I don't know. Camera Girl thinks that we'll live forever if we eat that. I got ground ginger. Use this a lot for stir fries. You know, I put this in all kinds of dishes. Ideally, we'll have fresh ginger, but if not, you know, this is good for throwing in stir fries I like. I got coriander. Now coriander, this is organic coriander. This here is a different container, but this also has coriander in it because I bought this coriander I don't know, like this one here, the green wise, I got this at Publix. This was probably some ungodly amount. And this is 1.5 ounces. I don't know what we paid for this. But this here fills this 7.5 ounce container, this coriander. And it probably would have filled 2 of these because I bought a bag of this coriander at an international market, like an Asian market or an Indian store. You know, you can go to those groceries and you can find bags of spice, like 12-ounce bags, 16-ounce bags, probably for less, or maybe the same amount that I paid for this little jar right here. So, you know, if you like cumin seeds, cumin, any kind of spice really, just look at an international market. If you like to use a lot of spice, you can find your best prices there. And I guess I would take a thing of coriander and put it with my essential spices, because this is one of the key ingredients in curries. And I do have some pre-made curries here. In fact, these are just the same that I accidentally bought duplications of. But we'll eventually use this. And I like using pre-made curries because you can just add some other seasonings to this to kind of differentiate it, so that you don't have the same curry taste all the time. Because this here pre-made curry, it's mostly going to be turmeric and chili powder, a little bit of onion powder, garlic powder, coriander. This one has turmeric, salt, dehydrated onion, blah, blah, blah. Then it just says spices. But curry is primarily those ingredients. But it's nice to have some pre-made curries. But I wouldn't bring a pre-made curry because I would bring other spices to make a curry. What else goes in a curry? You need turmeric. Dun, 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 somewhere. And I would bring turmeric as one of my essential spices, because turmeric has a great color and some flavor, although it's not an overpowering flavor. You can definitely smell this one, but some spices you can't smell. Now this is an organic badilla. I'll put some photographs on here so that my camera won't have to struggle so hard to focus. But badilla spices, we buy those all the time at Publix because they're very inexpensive. It's a great deal for these badilla spices. But you can spend a lot on spices, you can spend a little bit on spices. But if you can get the big bags of spice at the international grocery, that's best. You know, but you can get large sizes of the badilla too, and they're not terrible prices. But this here is chili powder. And I would bring chili powder. I would count chili powder as an essential spice because I could use that to make a curry. Paprika, I would count as an essential spice. Now, sometimes paprika doesn't seem to have a lot of flavor. I think a lot of people think of paprika as being pretty bland and flavorless, and some paprikas are. So you want to shop around and make sure you get a paprika that has a good flavor. Now this here's badilla. It's inexpensive, but I like the taste of this. It definitely has a flavor. It's not just for coloring. It's not just for an accent to go over deviled eggs. You know, it's just fantastic. So I would bring paprika, but I've sort of been enjoying smoked paprika lately. So I think I would bring smoked paprika as my essential ingredient. And that's just like paprika, except it's been smoked. And man, it smells terrific. And just a wee little bit goes a long way. So you don't want to overdo smoked paprika. And then I would bring cinnamon as an essential spice too. Let's see, I've got 3 different cinnamons here. Now this is just Publix plain ground cinnamon here. And you can smell it. And it's cinnamony. So it does the job and it's not too expensive. This here is kind of a badilla organic cinnamon. It smells good too, and it's kind of cinnamony. And this here is cinnamon. Now this is Greenwise organic, blah, blah, blah. And this smells the most cinnamoniest. Such a delicious cinnamon. I mean, but it's expensive. This is the most expensive one. And I used to be against spending more than I needed to on spice. And, you know, depending on how much money I've got in my wallet, how flush we are, you know, but I have been getting a little more extravagant on spending money for spices. Sometimes it's worth spending a little bit more. So depending on what I'm going to use the cinnamon for, You know, if I'm going to use it in something I'm baking, you know, maybe I'll use the less expensive, less flavorful cinnamon, because I'll be using more of it and I'll be using it in a different way. If I'm just going to sprinkle it on something, maybe I'll treat myself and use the more flavorful, expensive cinnamon. Speaking of expensive, cardamom. Love cardamom. Love having this. Oh, I don't need all of these cinnamons. If I was going to take one, I would just take one. But I wouldn't take cardamom. As much as I love cardamom, I wouldn't take this as an essential spice, but it sure is nice to have. Love the smell of this stuff. It's great in baking. Love it in rice pudding. If you want to get some cardamom, the thing is, before you go to the store, you'll want to stop by the bank and talk to the loan officer and get enough money to put a good down payment on your cardamom, or put it on a layaway so that by the time Christmas rolls around, you'll have your cardamom mostly paid for. But I like me some cardamom. Now here, like the pre-made curries, here's a pre-made spice mix. This is a Creole seasoning. We got this when we were in New Orleans. And I really like this mix of spices here. This is chili powder, salt, cayenne pepper, black pepper. But we use this in gumbo. You know, it's just a nice spicy seasoning. But I like this mix. But again, you can make this with all these other spices and whatnot. I've got some cayenne pepper in here. And cayenne pepper is pretty much good for heat. You know, if you want to make a dish and, you know, have the sweat coming out of the top of your head, then throw some cayenne pepper in there. I don't know if it adds a lot of flavor, but it definitely brings the heat. Onion powder. I don't use onion powder as much as I used to. Onion powder is like the white bread of spices. So that's definitely not essential. Italian seasoning. Do I want to bring Italian seasoning? Is Italian seasoning an essential spice? This hasn't been opened yet. Here's one that has been opened. And I think I do. I think I do want to bring Italian seasoning, just because I don't want to cart a bunch of other seasonings and flavors along. But Italian seasoning, it's handy to have. Now, I would rather have a mix of ingredients that go into an Italian seasoning. Like, I would rather just have oregano, and then some thyme, and then some basil, and, you know, make my own mix of flavors to create my own Italian seasoning. You know, that way you can kind of change it up a little bit. But, you know, if I'm just trying to streamline my spice kit, I would just take a pre-mixed spice. I don't know why this is in here. Vanilla extract, does that count as a spice or seasoning? We usually travel with it. You know, we like to bake cookies and whatnot. So it's good to have some of the vanilla extract. But I don't know. Probably wouldn't have it in my essentials for spices. This definitely doesn't belong in the essentials for spices. I don't even know why it's in here. This is Clear Lax, which is kind of a knockoff of Miralax. And if you don't know what Miralax is, then you're probably a young person. But by the time, you know, you start to fill in with gray, you know, when you start to look like your dad or your grandpa, then you might want to start carrying Miralax in your spice kit, you know, for when you want things to be extra spicy. Alrighty. This here we got honey. Camera girl put honey in here. Honey doesn't belong in the spice kit, but we travel with it. Then I've got lots of seeds, fennel seeds. Love me some fennel seeds. Love me some cumin seeds. Mustard seeds are okay. Caraway seeds, super duper fantastica. And then I got celery seeds. Seeds are great for cooking. We travel with seeds. They're very versatile. They add a lot of flavor. Of all of these seeds, I think the one that I would think was the most essential and the one I would travel with would be cumin seeds. Because cumin seeds are super duper. You know, if you throw them in with some onions and a little bit of garlic and some oil, it's just a great flavor and great texture too. So I would take cumin seeds. The rest of these seeds are nice, but they're not essential. Although just caraway seeds is such a great flavor. Celery seeds, use those in kind of essential in coleslaw. Love me some celery seeds. I got some wasabi powder here. Haven't used this in a while. This is good, you know, if you're making some homemade sushi. You throw together some wasabi, but we really don't do that on the road. So I don't know why I've got this in our road kit. But we just don't have a home base, and we've got that left over. This here is another curry, a premixed curry. In addition to this other premixed curry. See, this here they say is Jamaican style. This here is a hot curry. This is more like a Thai curry. This one has more chili powder in it. This here will get me sweating. You know, there's Southeast Asian curries, and there's different regions in India have different types of curries. So there's all kinds of curries. But you can make a curry with the cumin seeds and the turmeric and a little bit of coriander and a little bit of chili powder. You can make those and mix up your own curry. This here is garam masala, which is kind of a premix of spices as well too. And this is great for Indian dishes. And it's getting a little long in the tooth, because a little bit of garam masala goes a long way. And I probably bought this. This was probably like a 24-ounce bag when I bought it. So I've been using this for a number of years now. So I'm probably due to get a fresh bag. But that's not an essential spice. Bay leaves? Do you need bay leaves? I mean, my mom and my grandma used to throw bay leaves and stuff. So I do too. You know, it's good for stews and whatnot. Makes you feel like you're doing something. Definitely not an essential spice, but we travel with it. Mustard powder. When was the last time I used mustard powder? I can't remember. Not essential, but we're packing it around. Cumin powder. Let's see how many of these I got. Would I take cumin powder? I would like to take cumin powder, but we'll see. I would rather have cumin seeds than cumin powder. So let me put this down here and see if we're going to take that in the future. And did I do smoked paprika? I got smoked paprika, but I got a duplicate smoked paprika. Chili powder. I got another chili powder, but I've already got a big chili powder down there. Now this here is something Camera Girl got a couple of years ago, or maybe last year, called za'atar. Za'atar, I don't know what this was. African spice or maybe Middle Eastern. But she just stumbled across this at the store, and we've used this for a number of dishes. In fact, we're probably due to get another one. But this is a flavor. We just thought we'd give it a whirl, and we really like it. The number one ingredient here is sumac. But if you see something in the store, seasoning-wise, spice-wise, and you don't know what it is, just buy it. You know, experiment with something every now and then. You're going to find flavors that you like, you know, and broaden your horizons. And then the last thing I got in here is a bunch of garlic powders. Boom, 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 just some plain Jane garlic powder. Love garlic powder, definitely an essential spice. But I've been using roasted garlic more than regular garlic, which is, it's just garlic powder, but it's been roasted. And this is nice. It's like the smoked paprika. I like the smoky flavors. Like chili powder, I used to have some chipotle, which is like smoked poblano peppers, ground powder. Chipotle is really great. But chili powder will do until I get some more chipotle. Now of these, I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So I've got 11. So if I was going to take 10, what would I lose here? I could lose the black pepper because I've got chili powder. I've got some spicy stuff here. Or I could lose the cumin powder because I've got the cumin seeds. I think between the two, I would lose the cumin powder. I'm packing all of these, but if I could only bring 10, I would bring salt and pepper, coriander, turmeric, a little chili powder, a little bit of smoked paprika, some cinnamon, some Italian seasoning, a little bit of cumin seeds, and some roasted garlic powder. I did another video a few years ago which shows, you know, the hardware I like to bring, just the knife and spoons and skillets and a cutting board. You know, I like, you know, because you get, you know, you sort of get used to certain things and that's what you want. You know, I want a certain size cutting board that works a certain way. I don't want to go somewhere and find that they're using a postage stamp for a cutting board. Or I don't want too sharp a scary knife. You know, I got to where I like the little rounded edge knives. But cooking is fun if you got the things that you liked that make it fun. And if you want to check out our travel kitchen, I'll have a link down below so you can see what that looked like a few years ago. Plus some links to some other stuff, including some affiliate links to Amazon if you want to look for some starter spice kits. So I got all of these spices, you know, to cook up whatever I want. And I think I'm probably going to go get a hamburger at the bar around the corner. If you want some house sitting information, because we're just starting a house sit, and you know we carry this stuff around from house sit to house sit. But if you're interested in house sitting, I'll have a link down below, and you can go over to our channel, travel channel, and check out our house sitting videos. But I hope you're having a great weekend, and we'll see you next weekend. Adios.